Tuesday. So I'm not an inbox zero type person. I'm not the kind of guy who always has to clean up. So there's some of those emails that sit right at the bottom, and you have to pay attention to them, but they're not deadly urgent, but you have to, so it causes a bit of anxiety. Anyway, this morning I did a bit of a cleanup. I just catching up. One spot left on Svalbard. That's most of my morning, just kind of figuring that out. Not what I wanted to talk about, though. So, FOMO, the fear of missing out. Most of us have it to some degree or another. But I had a couple of coaching clients yesterday, and one or two of them got me thinking, and I did a bit of a deep dive just for new content and stuff. So I made some notes here. One of the coolest quotes I've heard with regards to FOMO is you only have a fear of missing out if you don't have something better to do. You only have a fear of missing out if you don't have something better to do. Now, I've had people, right, for example, on safari, they'll be with us in the Mara camp or Mala Mala or whatever, and then they'll go onto their phones and they'll scroll and they'll see someone else that they know who is at a different camp in the Mara, or even in a different reserve or a different country. And they're like, oh man, look at what they're seeing. I wish I was there. You're in the Mara, you're in Mala Mala, wherever you are, yet you're going on a device and you're looking for a reason to worry that you're not seeing what they're seeing. You know what I mean? It's kind of messed up. Anyway, bit of research. The average person spends about 147 minutes a day on social media. Because of that, obviously, we're more aware of what other people are doing, and this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You're seeing every vacation they take, every sighting they have, every success they have. We're seeing this all the time, and we start missing out. It's like, fuck, I wish I could have what they have. Now, in 2004, when Facebook and MySpace were kind of doing a handover, right? At that point, that's kind of where a lot of psychologists believe this whole FOMO thing started, 2000 to 2004. FOMO includes both the perception of missing out, which triggers anxiety, and compulsive behaviors like checking and refreshing sites or your social media in order to maintain social connections. It's closely related to the fear of social exclusion or being ostracized, which existed long before social media. Now, this FOMO thing, right, has to do with regret. Is you have fear of missing out based on what someone else is doing, and you regret not being there with them. Now, we're going to diversify this conversation quickly. Two things. Number one, FOMO is real. It's very real, as some of you might well know. But also, regret. In life, you have to choose your regrets. You have to choose the regret you're willing to live with. Now, I've spoken to quite a few of my clients about this the last while, and I think I might have mentioned this in the video. But any decision that comes up in my life will have regret attached one way or another. So you have to choose what regret you're willing to live with. For example, let's say Jono says to me now, hey, let's go have a couple of drinks tonight. Okay, I'm not drinking currently, but if I were, I could go and I could have a few drinks, but tomorrow morning I'm going to regret it. I might not feel great. I might miss my training, so I'll regret that. If I say to him, no, I can't, or I'm not going to go out tonight for a few drinks, I'm going to train in the morning, there's still a part of me that's going to regret not having fun with a mate, right? So you got to choose which level of regret you're willing to live with. And that can go to very big decisions as well. When you fuck up, are you willing to deal with that regret? But FOMO. So FOMO, there's something called regret aversion, where you don't want to regret something, and that's where fear of missing out kind of meets it. So that's where the crossroads happen, is you're so scared of missing out what someone else is doing, seeing, or experiencing, and you wish you were there so you don't have to deal with the regret of not being there. But listen, John, right? If you chose to be in the Masai Mara, yet you're regretting that you're not seeing what someone in South Luangwa is seeing, that is fucking idiotic. That is just, how do you process that? But we've gotten so used to these devices, these things, being our check and balance of what other people are doing. I've got to compete with them. So some symptoms of FOMO include obsessively checking social media to see what others are doing. It's an addiction, and I'm willing to bet pretty good money a lot of you, while you're watching this, you're on your phone. And I'm willing to bet a lot of money that once you put this down, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, you'll pick up your phone and do it again. Check social media. Another symptom, experiencing negative feelings when comparing your own life to what others seem to be doing on social media. Seem to be doing because they're showing you the highlights. Feeling mentally exhausted from social media. There's a theme, right? Social media keeps on coming up. Other symptoms of FOMO can include overscheduling, trying to be everywhere else. So you're going to go, I'll meet you at the party, then I'll go for drinks, then I'll go for dinner, and then I'll go to the other party. So you make sure you don't miss out on anything. Withdrawing from other people, feeling physically tired, feeling sad, anxious, depressed, difficulty concentrating, having trouble sleeping, because your brain kicks in and you start worrying so heavily about what other people are doing. Causes of FOMO, right? Social media is not the only thing that causes that. For example, you might get an invitation to a weekend party that you don't necessarily want to go to, but you go to anyway because you don't want to feel left out when your friends talk about it on Monday. Sound familiar? Social media facilitates fear of missing out, but people have always experienced it. This is by Dr. Vogel, which is a social psychologist. While anything that makes someone feel left out can cause FOMO, a few of the other causes also include not understanding an inside joke that people are laughing at. Some people at the office laugh, you look at them, you don't know what they're laughing about, FOMO kicks in. Not being picked for a sporting team as a kid, not being invited to an event, missing out on a good deal, such as a sale at a store you like. These things hit hard, yeah? Now, how do you resist FOMO? How do you resist that? And the idea that they give in this article, this paper that I'm reading, Dr. Vogel and Dr. Datillo, on how to deal with FOMO, is remember what you're not seeing on social media. People look at me and my guys here at Wild Eye, right? We show you the highlights. Look, I'm in the Mara. Look, I'm in Svalbard. Here's an elephant. Here's a polar bear. Here's a forest. Whatever. God, I wish that was every day. There's normal mundane shit, which I'm not going to post on social, but you base your FOMO based on that. Yeah? Be purposeful with your time. Focus your energy on relationships and activities that are fulfilling to you. When you're content with how you're spending your time, you'd be less concerned with how others are spending theirs. It's a common thing. Know your triggers. Often it can be helpful to figure out exactly what is causing you to experience FOMO. Much like any behavioral addiction, which is what it is. You go into an anxiety loop, right? And FOMO, the fear of, even though it's a negative thing, that feeling of missing out, that anxiety that it gets, the overthinking that it causes, becomes like an addiction, right? Where were we here? Fulfilling. When you're content with how you're spending your time, you'll be less concerned with other spending. Know your triggers. Much like any behavioral addiction, understanding and minimizing triggers is important. If you find that your cause of FOMO is your phone, she, the doctor, suggests putting it in a different room unless you need to use it to avoid the temptation of going on social media. If a certain person is regularly causing you to experience FOMO, you may want to consider limiting your time around them. Guys, you know this. You know this. Know your triggers. See a therapist, they say. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is a very good way to deal with this. It can help you break the habits that are leading to FOMO, such as overusing social media. You see, the social media thing keeps on coming up again and again and again and again. I've made a concerted effort over the last couple of months to get off my phone. I post and ghost a lot of the time. I post and leave, right? I'll check in once, maybe twice a day to see messages and stuff. But more than that, no. I'm lucky that let me just confirm this before I say it. I've never really suffered from FOMO. It's never been a big thing for me. And that quote that I gave you in the beginning, and this is golden, you only have a fear of missing out if you don't have something better to do. A lot of it comes back to awareness. It comes back to your levels of anxiety, your levels of taking action. If you're going to sit on your fucking couch and just scroll on social media all the time, you're not putting yourself out into the world. You're not doing things. You're not doing something for yourself. You're not taking care of your mental health, your physical health, and you're just fucking sitting there. Of course you're going to have fear of missing out because you've convinced yourself that your life sucks and other people's lives are so much better. Is it though? It's not. It's not, because you are seeing highlights. You are seeing highlights. Think about how silly it is. Let's go to the safari thing again. For you to be in a reserve, right? To be in a reserve, looking at other people in another reserve, and getting anxious and borderline depressed because they saw a lion and you didn't while you're in the reserve. So you're missing out on the reality of the situation now. You're missing out now. It's bizarre, man. It's so bizarre. Average person spends 147 minutes per day on social media. That's 2.5 hours. That's a shit ton. Over a week, it's 10. Work it out. How many days are you spending on that thing? It's FOMO's real. I get it. But there are ways. Look at what you have. Dial up your situations. It comes with choice, right? And we can link it all back. Anxiety because of FOMO. Anxiety because of FOMO is you not making decisions. Because anxiety at base level is knowing you have decisions to make, but you're not making them. So if you're sitting on your couch doing nothing, and you're looking at social, at other people who have decided to do stuff, you didn't make the decision to do stuff. FOMO is a strange thing, eh? It's a very strange thing. So FOMO and regret aversion. Regret, you have to choose the regrets that you want to live with in your life. And FOMO comes with that. If you make a choice to go to this party, not that party, if partying is your thing, then you've made the choice. You're going to regret not going to this one. If you went to this one, you're going to regret not going to that one. Choose the regret you want to live with. It's a nice thing to get to that place. Okay, I'm going to go now. Because I have FOMO as to what's happening in the office. No, I don't. No. Anyway, working from home tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Probably do another video there. Have loads of thoughts on anxiety and anxiety loops. Just speaking to some clients the last few days. Might bring that back into the conversation because I'm doing a bit of research on that again. But otherwise, Johan and I are working tomorrow on some of the presentations we'll be doing in the US. I'm in Boston from the 10th to the 15th of October. From the 15th to the 22nd of October, Johan and I will be in Chicago. And from 22 to 26th October, we'll be in New York City. Presentations all around. I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 emails to nail things down. But if you are in those cities you want to meet up, please get hold of us. And otherwise, you're going to have FOMO. I'm going to go. Have a good one. Bye.